I was 32 when I discovered my dad's old PS1 memory card tucked away in a dusty box, buried amongst battered VHS tapes and forgotten childhood toys. The card's surface was scratched and faded, testament to years of neglect, yet retaining an unmistakable sense of nostalgia. Each of the 15 slots was filled with saves that once held the promise of adventure, triumph over pixelated foes, and late-night gaming marathons. Now, after he passed 4 years ago, it felt like sifting through a relic of a past life, one that came rushing back in waves, both comforting and unsettling. I remember vividly those summer afternoons spent trying to beat the next level of Final Fantasy VII with him, our living room transformed into a battleground of strategy and perseverance. His laughter echoed when I'd panicked during boss fights. The smell of burnt popcorn and soda was forever intertwined with the sounds of chirpy button clicks and pixelated music. That deep connection, forged over countless gaming expenses, formed the backdrop of my childhood, making this small piece of memory storage all the more significant. Something urged me to reach for my old PlayStation console, a relic itself. I dragged it from the basement into the light of day, feeling a mix of excitement and unease. As the console powered on, I slid the memory card into the slot. That iconic sound of machinery whirring to life filled the air, a soothing backdrop against the muffled buzz of reality. I eagerly navigated through the saved game slots, my heart racing with nostalgia as the titles flashed across the screen. Distant memories began to surface. The first 14 slots filled me with warmth, reflecting expected gaming triumphs. But when I clicked on the last save slot, I wasn't prepared for what I would see. The screen shimmered, and I was confronted with a level that looked shockingly familiar, my childhood home. Overcome by an unsettling mixture of excitement and dread, I leaned closer, my pulse quickening. How could this be? It felt utterly impossible. The details were too vivid, the placement of furniture, the color of the walls, even the family photos hanging in the hallway. My mind reeled. Someone had to have modded the game, right? Despite my incredulity, curiosity propelled me forward. I took a deep breath, forcefully suppressing the rising anxiety, and began exploring the level. Each step into the game matched a memory in my mind, but it also triggered an odd sense of disquiet. Why was this here, and why did it feel like I had stumbled upon something I shouldn't have? As I transitioned more into the simulation, genuine thrill intertwined with an unsettling feeling creeping into the back of my mind. The odds of this being a mere coincidence felt long. There had to be an explanation lurking, begging to be unwrapped. I soon told myself to focus, to breathe, and to approach it like any game we used to play. If I could just make sense of this, perhaps I could pinpoint how someone had tapped into such intricate details of my life. Diving deeper, the memories blended further with the narrative of a game designed to evoke the past, a blend from 1998 when Sony's PlayStation was the pinnacle of gaming innovation. My dad had found joy not only in playing, but in sharing. Gaming had preceded the advent of smartphones and endless streaming platforms. As I navigated through the initial game slots, myriad titles of beloved games flashed across the screen. Crash Bandicoot, Resident Evil, and Spyro the Dragon. They sparked memories of laughter-filled weekends spent together, sitting cross-legged on the floor, whole days disappearing in digital adventures. I recall the thrill of reaching the next big level while Dad cheered me on, enveloped in a cocoon of joy and excitement. Everything felt normal. Nothing seemed out of place yet. Comfortable. Eerily predictable. The first 14 slots were as I expected, but then I opened the last one. The unexpected sense of foreboding grew dense in my chest as I clicked into that final slot. Unshakable doubt tugged at my thoughts. This wasn't just another gaming memory. It expanded, became something disturbingly real. I could hardly breathe as reality twisted around this newly discovered layer of nostalgia, and yet I stayed. Hooked, ready to see where this led. If you want to hear more stories about retro gaming and weird finds from the past, subscribe to the channel. Because what I found in this memory card was just the start of something eerie. Inside the game, which so closely mirrored my own home, I began examining each detail. As expected, the save file held character stats and items that emphasized a beautiful yet delicate world. I felt my heart reach for the comfort of familiarity, and I let nostalgia wash over me. Yet, as I perused the first few game slots, they were simply more of what I anticipated. Things I had seen countless times before. Nothing alarming, a collection of standard gaming achievements. My father had always been a passionate gamer, introducing me to that vibrant world, explaining each character's backstory as if it were a genuine piece of our lives. I used to marvel at how he could immerse himself so completely. The very act of gaming became a bonding ritual. Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, games that transcended mere entertainment. They taught me about resilience, strategy, and imagination. As I sifted through the first few saves, I was transported back to sunny afternoons when I would return from school and find him already navigating the latest adventure. Those were happy times filled with laughter, competition, and sometimes inexplicable emotional depth. We relived understated drama through the parody of console gameplay. And though he had his frustrations over his favorite characters die too soon, these moments connected us beyond age or circumstance. We relived understated drama through the parody of console gameplay. And though he had his frustrations over his favorite characters die too soon, these moments connected us beyond age or circumstance. Each file revealed titles I recognized, content I understood. My father had crafted records that echoed his love for a world we could escape into. I could almost hear my dad's voice recalling our cherished victory moments, the simple pride lingering in his tone every time I beat a level or completed a quest. Yet, settled within that warmth, a seed of doubt surfaced as I hit the last slot in this treasure trove of memories. What awaited me within that pixelated realm? I hesitated, thoughts racing at what I might uncover. As I delved into the game, familiar landscapes flooded my screen alongside a collection of pieces I could relate to all too well. But when I accessed the final save slot, something shifted. The screen lit up, revealing an eerily accurate depiction of my childhood home, recreated in pixelated form, yet so exact that I could actually feel my stomach drop. Horrified, I wondered how a game could reflect so many intimate memories. Yet, at the same time, it felt peculiar, wrong. I couldn't comprehend how the simulation could breathe detail into those memories with such precision. I felt discomfort clawing at my gut, improbability gnawing at my thoughts. It felt like I had crossed some boundary by peeking behind that veil. How could a digital representation so perfectly reflect our reality? Skimming through the save data felt like walking through thick fog. I noted details coming into focus, but they didn't feel right. Someone must have modded it, I reassured myself, pushing away the unsettling dread creeping in. It had to be the only rational explanation, yet my mind whirled angrily at the implications. The existence of something contrived didn't align with the memories I held sacred. As layer upon layer unfurled on screen, unease dug its claws in deeper, but I felt compelled to know. I ventured forth, pushing buttons mindlessly while my pulse raced, chasing the next surprise lurking in that nameless realm. But as I navigated its contours, I realized I had stumbled into a game that tricked the mind, luring me into familiar terrain under false pretenses. With each pixelated stride, I began piecing together an unsettling portrait. This was more than just a map. This was my home, a distorted manifestation of memories rendered into game mechanics. If this twist is giving you chills, hit that like button. You won't believe what happens next. The gut-wrenching image on my screen mirrored too much of myself, too many memories uncannily familiar. There was something palpably unnerving navigating my childhood home, pixelated rooms twisting hypnotically as they morphed into gameplay. I could almost envision standing in that very kitchen, washing the dishes beside my father, laughing over his incessant teasing about game choices I regretted making. Navigating this strange level born from my memories was making me dizzy. I ducked into rooms, caught a glimpse of furniture, wallpaper, my mother's favorite vase perched on a table. But was that really the familiar setting I knew? I wrote it off at first, but each glimpse of a familiar object, an all too recognized sound, left me sitting heavily at the edge of my chair. Could it be a reflection? I scanned through the game, attempting to wrap my head around it all, yet the oddities piled higher, intertwining into a tapestry of ungraspable possibilities. The bizarre narrative unfurled before my eyes, the plucking of each memory intertwined with something darker. I thought maybe it was just a strange coincidence. But what happened next changed everything. Evidence upon the screen spiraled into a chaotic crescendo, an avalanche of moments linked together. Pieces of artwork hanging on the wall, snippets of dialogue I recalled as having in real life, whispers soaking me in dread. No one could have created such an accurate depiction without knowing the details of our lives intimately. I could spot crucial family moments captured in the troubling landscape of this save file, details no one could have known unless they had shared my memories. A gut-wrenching sensation tightened within my chest as I sunk further into the game, confirming the level's uncanny likeness to my family experiences. Each turn gave way to an odd sense of location foundational within my life, yet charged with an inherent unease. I began gathering screens, each illustration serving as evidence, as an answer to a question I was too afraid to ask. The reality of it began sinking in, observations colliding against my fractured understanding of time and space. This wasn't just a modded game, it was eerily predictive. Each room's complex design materialized around me like an overwhelming echo, the recollections warping into a dissonant cacophony. I shuffled through familial truths and communal reminiscences buried in lines of text. Could my father's preserved backups hold a message buried deep within pixels? But the tension began to unravel as I dove deeper. What awaited me in this home I so deeply remembered? I had already tied knots in my gut while seeking answers, but my heart continued to race with an undefined anticipation. An impending sensation eclipsed my exploration as I walked towards a door I wished to avoid. The writing on the wall loomed over me, an ominous whisper warning me to turn back. I couldn't help but feel the weight of my own skepticism pushing me forward, a part of me desperate to reclaim living memories distorted in this twisted simulation. I desperately scanned through the levels, uncovering hints of tomorrow, a countdown to events I had yet to experience, and traps waiting to spring in the real world. The layers of my family's layers unfurled before me like a premonition strung throughout each save file, a looming connection to the past, terrifying in its clarity. Nothing prepared me for the final discovery. Patterns intertwined across the screen. Every step revealed markers attesting to those I had lost before. Familiar landscapes morphed, unsettling truths exposed beneath the surface. Family moments danced on the screen like puppets on strings, parading towards an impending cliff, beguiled into reality's decay. I flipped through file after file until one particular entry caught my eye. It seemed to pulse with a life of its own, resonating before me, titled "The Day Dad Passed." My heart dropped, knees buckling as vertigo washed over me. How could this be? It listed events leading up to his death, marked by dates and schematics aligning too perfectly with my decade-long absence. The air felt heavy with dread as I realized this wasn't just my past. It was a blueprint, a timeline laid bare, predicting other haunting moments to come. Fear ripped through me, forcing a tidal wave of nausea that echoed long after my stomach turned uncomfortably. Screenshots began flashing before me, depicting future events that shouldn't have felt only real. They had precognitive weight attached. This was my father reaching through time via a relic of nostalgia, a whisper rippling through eternal moments meant to caution me. Only mere hours before this revelation had I spoken to my friend about the vague unease creeping into my daily life. Now, as I tried to wrap my head around the confusing timeline of yesterday, I felt a deepening disconnection from the present. If the depth of this discovery resonates with you, hit that thanks button below. Your support allows me to dig deeper into these strange occurrences. I succumbed to unraveled thoughts, the chilling unease settling over my consciousness like a thick haze. Each disturbingly profound finding etched its mark in my mind. Each save died 1,000 deaths. There was no explanation that could adequately frame the connection made, nor the eerie twists that lured me closer to madness. In the crosshairs of uncertainty, flashes of irony burst forth. Which reality dictated normalcy? I grew overwhelmed by the disarray of existence capturing my essence, playing its cards with malice as it pulled from beneath me. Could he have known all, orchestrating memories designed to prepare me for events chained to fate? The questions trembled beneath layers of cognitive distortion, answers ghosting upon the edge of my breath. I ran heated fingers through my hair, searching for clarity or a thread of rationality in the chaos woven into this tapestry of memories. Above all else, I needed to collect the pieces, decipher the intricacies of this bizarre narrative before reflecting on those I had lost. Alongside the growing dread, I found a twisted acceptance burgeoning inside of me. Time was a treacherous scheme, the inevitable was intertwined, and nothing aligned perfectly as I once believed. Wrapping my head around the implications, I endeavored to connect the dots along the timeless network of reality and gaming. I ventured online, seeking discourse and parallels among those like me searching for meaning. Only each conversation would lead me down winding paths of speculation, yet nothing conclusive. My posts echoed back with no fruitful explanations in sight, as each answer landed heavily in a spiraling abyss. Users shared their experiences, speculating upon time's fluidity, but I couldn't shake the impression they were fragments leading back to the void. But understanding the mechanics didn't prepare me for the chilling truth ahead. Eventually, engulfed by swirling emotions, I fell into a web of existential dread, dauntless questions swirling endlessly. I mulled over articles detailing retrocausality and paradoxes woven into tales across the internet's darkened corners. I sought knowledge but found nothing more than theories offering little comfort when applied to the reality I faced. An ill-fated realization came forth, gnawing relentlessly at my sanity, twisting memories into cruel taunts. The events already played out before me were undeniably anchored in reality. Time had a curve of its own, intricately layered like woven fabric. Did we hold the agency to script our destinies, or were we prisoners, trapped in a perpetual cycle pointing towards unseen destinies? I had never felt more uncertain in my concepts of existence and truth relationships. Want even deeper dives into these complex anomalies? Consider joining as a channel member for exclusive content that goes beyond what's been shared here. Realizations pressed down, drowning me in a whirlpool of chaotic thoughts. I sought to grapple with the fragile strands binding life's myriad events, recognizing how family dynamics might portend fate. My father had cast this very web long ago, spinning connections with whimsy, desire, and eerie accuracy. Had I glimpsed back upon time's eternal cycle, merely choosing not to see? With newfound clarity, the notion crept into my thoughts that maybe our family had been trying to tell me something all along. A recent event unfolded painfully into existence, markedly similar to the predictions from the save file, striking me with the chilling sting of realization. Just days ago, my partner had an accident, mirroring a foreboding warning I could have caught if I had only looked harder. As I scoured old journals filled with my father's musings, unraveling layers of his predictions was painful. How had he seen what lay ahead, pinning out fates that seemed serendipitously orchestrated? The finality pressed down upon me, forcing doubts to bubble to the surface as conclusions eluded me. The weight of control slipped further from my grasp, a spotlight honed onto decisions made, branching too chaotically. I began to question my ability to shape my life, wondering if all events had crystallized in a tapestry foreseen. Maybe my father had been a puppeteer of fate himself, each memory entangled with a hidden narrative waiting to unfold at a set time. As I buckled beneath the pressure of fate versus free will, spiraling into deeper despair, I got lost in thought. Every voice echoed my own sentiments. Their words rolled together, begging me to articulate this burgeoning horror. I had unearthed too many troubling connections, yet somewhere inside they coiled, revealing layers of truth beyond mundane confessions. Everything I uncovered bled into the inward question. Did my past truly exist ahead of me, scripted in pathways I could no longer manipulate? I found myself standing at the precipice of comprehension, feelings twisting and wrapping around me like binding chains. In all of this, so many possibilities began to coalesce. I stumbled through discoveries, back onto the path of my video game existence, hoping for a way to the other side. Decisions I had made crept back around, entangling me hopelessly. My understanding fell apart piece by piece while needing resolution. This convoluted reality beckoned me toward hopelessness, the antagonist threatening to ensnare my consciousness. If you feel the weight of this journey reflecting memories, hit that thanks button. Your contributions help me explore deep-rooted mysteries like this. That's when I truly understood what my dad was trying to communicate through this bizarre mechanism. Testing the confines of time, he reached back through this PS1 memory card, forcing me into confrontation with the reality of existence itself. The messages were clearer now. Choosing to change poorly aimed events only set me on a trajectory toward off-script outcomes. How tragic to know that warnings eluded me. I staggered into a maelstrom of revelations and played back my memories, each moment weighed with purpose as I sought to alter fate's unforgiving grip. I still hold that PS1 memory card. Its power has not faded. It still whispers possibilities. It serves as a haunting reminder of my father and the lessons etched into every save file, a connection formed through nostalgia drifting into shadowy realities. Unearthed fragments unveiled into cosmic whispers, led by a figure long gone, creating paths forged by existence's construct. Still, their stories remained entwined with my traumas, a cycle ready to elevate once again. I couldn't look away, nor could I fully comprehend where this would lead me. I returned home to sit with the memory card for yet another session, contemplating the enduring message lingering perilously beyond comprehension. The lingering questions stayed open, unresolvable, while pointing towards whispers of time lost, shadowing me with uncertainties. But as I placed the memory card back in its designated space, I felt something grind against the fabric of reality, as if taunting me as fate loitered nearby, its imprint evoking deeper uncertainty among my memories. Just before I left it tucked in its familiar compartment, a glitch flickered through the television screen, cold knees knocking as I looked back toward my past. Time was fleeting, and maybe it wasn't merely about anticipating the future. Perhaps it encapsulated all I had lived until that moment. I turned back, thoughts languishing on the consequences of knowledge, on controlling destiny. The question hung in the air, a weight I could not yet acknowledge, pressing against my mind and spiraling unanswered into an abyss of reflection. Could I trust the past? And what lay ahead when fate twisted in ways I could never foresee? I was engulfed in a whirlwind of thoughts, each one dragging me deeper into the endless fabric of time and nostalgia. Standing before my father's PS1 memory card felt surreal, a potent mix of past and present wrapped around me. What stories did this little piece of plastic hold? What truths could it reveal about my father, my family, and the winding path that lay ahead? I recalled the first time I had inserted a memory card into a console. My dad leaned over my shoulder, a gentle smile stretching across his face as I fumbled with the controller. "It's just a game," he had said, but his eyes sparkled with the joy of possibility. I yearned for that flicker of excitement again, even as it collided with a growing sense of dread over the unraveling truths. With a deep breath, I plugged the memory card into my PS1 console. The familiar sound of the console powering up hit me, bringing back floods of nostalgia. The screen flickered to life as the retro graphics emerged. The last save slot pulsed at me like a breathless heartbeat, and I could almost taste the thrill of adventure again. As I selected the final save, an eerie chill swept through the room. The screen lit up, revealing an astonishingly accurate depiction of my childhood home, my sanctuary transformed into a pixelated labyrinth of memories. Each room felt alive, bearing witness to moments long past. The kitchen and living room were so vividly portrayed that I could almost hear my father's laughter echoing in the air again. Yet, amidst these comforting reflections, an unsettling feeling crept over me. The details grew too intimate, the photos hanging crookedly on the wall, moments frozen in time that I had long forgotten. I felt the vibrations of nostalgia clashing with anxiety. Venturing deeper, I stepped into the game's familiar yet distorted world. Whispered memories began colliding, feeding into a growing sense of the impossible. Was this merely a game, or had something beyond my comprehension seeped into the fabric of its design? Questions buzzed around my mind, but no answers emerged. The thrill of discovery morphed into something sinister, pressing at the edges of my sanity. As I continued exploring, flashes of déjà vu struck like shards of glass. I navigate through familiar spaces, each detail blurring the line between reality and game. Moments of laughter suddenly warped, teasing at unsettling truths. I realized I was wrestling against a narrative that felt far too real. The air hung thick with tension, and with each passing second, the familiarity twisted into something malevolent. My heart raced as I grasped the controller tightly, clutching it as if it anchored me to reality. Could it be that my father had known something all along? Had he crafted this web to prepare me for circumstances intertwined with fate? Still drawn to the pixelated expanse, I pushed forward, resolved to uncover the threads of connection hidden beneath layers of nostalgia. The stakes elevated with each click and turn, beckoning me toward an inevitable confrontation with the uncanny reality hidden within my childhood. I faced the screen, thoughts languishing on the fragility of control. The question hung above me, a weight I could not yet acknowledge. Could I trust the past? What lay ahead when fate twisted in ways I could never foresee? With the pulsating glow of the screen illuminating my face, I felt a wave of nostalgia wash over me before settling into that strange, unsettling haze. Standing in my living room, the aura of familiarity seemed to beckon me, urging me to dig deeper into the very essence of my childhood encapsulated within that PS1 memory card. I couldn't shake off the feeling that it held the keys to mysteries long buried. What unexpected truths awaited me in this labyrinth of pixels? My father had always been the type to find joy in the details. He loved sharing gaming anecdotes, each story a brushstroke on the canvas of my life. I remembered the days when he would sit me on his knee, teaching me how to navigate the worlds we explored together. Back in 1998, when the Sony PlayStation had arrived, it felt like stepping into a portal of dreamlike experiences. It was no longer just a console. It became our sanctuary, a silent bond that flourished and developed into something substantial, a connection amid the chaos of life. As the console powered on, echoing its nostalgic hum, memories flowed like a river through my mind. I recalled the hours we spent battling through Final Fantasy VII, strategizing over a posteria of choices as we fought for every inch of success. Those warm, sun-soaked afternoons spent defeating titans and rescues from emotional turmoil created an everlasting imprint on my heart. The screen flickered, and I clicked through each save file. These were the games that encapsulated our afternoons, family adventures caught in moments of acute triumph. Everything felt normal as nostalgia wrapped practical warmly around me. However, even amid these cozy tales, something lurking beneath the surface gnawed at my subconscious. What wouldn't I uncover by clicking that last save? The air thickened with anticipation, compelling me to confront whatever awaited in the final slot. As I traced the copies of our memories, those triumphs and defeats, I noticed that even the earliest save was dated well into the future. It was odd, even unsettling. The stored experiences didn't align with any timeline I could recall. What could that mean? Just then it hit me. If these games were markers of our shared history, then perhaps they contained more than mere entertainment. Were they predictions? It made me question the tapestry of events my father had known, leading to my overwhelming sense of dread. With each click, I was drawn deeper into a spiraling vortex of nostalgia, intertwined with a harrowing reality. I had to know. I had to confront what lay ahead. If I wanted clarity, I had to unveil the hidden truths within those digital realms crafted from my childhood. And in that moment, I realized I couldn't unravel this alone. The ghosts of my past were begging for understanding, and I was here to seek those voices. If you want to hear more stories about retro gaming and weird finds from the past, subscribe to the channel, because what I found in my father's memory card was just the beginning. The heavy tension entwined my chest, and I brushed a hand through my hair, determination boiling just beneath the surface. With each ensuing slot, the game transformed from a nostalgic adventure to a haunting echo of the unknown. My heart raced, and as I gripped the controller, I felt tethered between fear and excitement, delicately poised on the edge of discovery. Driven by a burgeoning urge to reveal the mystery lurking before me, my past melded into an enigma spiraled within digital confines. My father's playful, spirited tones whispered through my memories, guiding me through every pixelated corner and bend, urging me onward. And yet, I couldn't shake the same question that echoed out loud. What if uncovering the truth would unravel a reality I was unprepared to face? Stepping toward the final save felt as if I was crossing a threshold into an abyss riddled with specters of memory. Could I trust the woven tales of my childhood? Moments crafted with love and laughter, twisted into something far more complex. I had to press forward because a part of me believed that amidst the chaos, I might unearth some piece of knowledge hidden under layers of nostalgia set to unravel a grander narrative. With a heart heavy with a mix of fear and anticipation, I plunged ahead, determined to face whatever awaited me within that final game save. The question hung in the air. Was I ready to decipher the secrets my father had tucked away, waiting to reveal the truth of our existence, scripted in a tapestry of fate and time? As I hovered over the last save slot, an unsettling thrill coursed through me, a blend of fear and longing for answers. With a swift press of the button, the screen flickered, and the game plunged me back into a world I thought I had long left behind. The static glow enveloped me, and suddenly I was standing in a pixelated version of my childhood home once again. Everything was strikingly accurate, yet tinged with a vibrant, surreal quality. Each room felt alive with memories and echoes of laughter. Familiar smells lingering like ghosts anchored to my past. My fingers tingled as I clutched the controller tightly, feeling the warmth and weight of it, a physical reminder of the adventures my dad and I shared. This wasn't just a nostalgic trip. It was an invitation to unearth buried truths. Navigating through the halls, I caught sight of a digital representation of my father, pixelated yet distinctly him, standing proud in the living room. He held a controller, a knowing smile spreading across his face as he gestured for me to join him. I felt the weight of that smile, both welcoming and foreboding. "Join me," it seemed to say, and I couldn't resist. I walked toward him, my virtual self mirroring the hesitant hope I felt. What could he be showing me? What past decisions had led to this moment, and what future awaited me? As I approached, a shimmering portal emerged behind him. The world distorted, bending the familiar into an eerie anticipation of the unknown. I faced my father's digital figure, feeling an urgent need to understand. Would he provide the guidance I was desperately seeking, or was he leading me to confront the very chaos I wished to escape? I stepped into the glowing portal, and suddenly the surroundings shifted, morphing into scenes from my life that I never thought to examine closely. Each frame cascaded like a waterfall, displaying critical moments, conversations, choices, paths not taken. There, I spotted reflections of family gatherings and personal achievements played out before me, while interspersed moments of disappointment and regret taunted me, commanding my attention. There, I spotted the moment my partner had suffered their accident. It flickered like a video on repeat, sharp edges contrasting with the warmth of happy memories. Self-doubt twisted my gut as I replayed our last conversation. I wished I had paid more attention, had been more present. Would things have turned out differently if I had acted? The weight of nostalgia and guilt seeped in, threatening to drag me under. The realization hit me harder each second. The power of hindsight bore down, taunting me with the what-ifs that peppered my past. It seeped like a poison into my thoughts, whispering cruel possibilities in my ear. If only I had picked up on the signs. If only I had been more aware. And then it struck me. This wasn't merely a game. The past had captured these moments, encapsulated them within the confines of a memory card. My father's way of communicating truths that transcended the limits of time. Feeling overwhelmed, I halted my rapid movements and closed my eyes, a wave of confusion washing over me. I needed to grasp the significance of what lay before me. What was my father trying to convey through these vivid portrayals? If you're already feeling those chills creep up your spine and the weight of nostalgia pressing upon you, then hit that like button. This journey points towards something more profound, unearthing the intricate weavings of fate and family that contour our lives. As my surroundings pulsed with energy, I opened my eyes, peering closely at the swirling images. They weren't just memories. They were lessons in the making, labyrinths of choices, interspersed with love, regret, and the inherent chaos of life itself. This journey was about unraveling the delicate threads that bound my family, the hopes and dreams my father passed on to me. Determined to uncover the truths my family had tucked away in pixelated history, I pressed on through the portal. I had to confront every distorted fragment, embrace the discomfort that came with honesty and understanding. Weaving through the vibrant spectrum of my life, I committed myself to the task at hand. In this labyrinth, I would find more than just revelations about my past. I would disentangle my father's aspirations, beliefs, and fears from the threads of time, sparking connections and illuminating paths that I was meant to follow. With renewed resolve, I ventured deeper into this intricate tapestry. Each decision, each heartbeat would echo through time, preparing me to reconstruct my narrative. Whatever lay ahead, I felt a spark of guidance beneath that gleaming surface. A way to reclaim agency over my future and discover the unbreakable bond tying me to my father's legacy. Would I emerge stronger? Redefined? The only way to find out was to leap into the unknown and face the past head-on, embracing the confluence of nostalgia and foresight waiting to be unveiled. As I pressed forward through the glowing portal, The surroundings began to morph again, twisting into vivid scenes from my career and relationships. Each moment was sharp and crisp, yet I was aware that I navigated through layers of complexity, threading between joy and heartache. In front of me stood the digital landscapes of my life, shifting like a kaleidoscope. The places I had worked, the friends I had lost, the dreams I had chased. With each scene, I felt the weight of my father's intentions pressing me to confront all that remained unfinished. The glimmering spaces fenced in unfinished sentences and unsaid words echoed through the air. Each frame a reminder of what lay ahead if I dared to accommodate the details. As I moved further into the intricate labyrinth, I stumbled across a familiar scene. There I was, younger and hopeful, sitting at a table in an office filled with the hum and chatter of colleagues. I could hear snippets of conversation about client meetings and projects, but amid the energy, there was a tangible fatigue. Images of late nights and missed connections materialized, blurring together into a haze of stressful moments. The resonance of these past experiences hit hard, a forceful reminder of my relentless drive for success that often came at the expense of my relationships. I could see my partner's face, faint yet resolute, sitting across that table, eyes brimming with unvoiced support and concern. The scene flickered as their expression turned from admiration to an outline of worry, their presence defined by hints of neglect, a consequence of my single-mindedness that I had brushed aside. Pausing there, I felt a lump form in my throat. The uncomfortable awareness of how ambition had made me forget the very people who believed in me the most washed over. I was struck by the realization of the cost associated with my decisions as I witnessed myself pull away, unaware of the looming repercussions. The screen pulsed in front of me like a heartbeat, a reminder that choices ripple forward, manifesting in ways we might never expect. A darker scene took form, an office party where laughter echoed like shards of glass, but the smiles belied a sense of hollowness. I initially reveled in the admiration from my peers, the accolades boosting my ego, yet I felt the gilded cage tighten. My father's voice echoed faintly in my ears, urging me to recognize the connections I was foregoing while climbing the ladder of my aspirations. Then the portal shifted again, revealing a memory from the days that followed my partner's life-altering accident. I saw myself in a hospital waiting room, feeling lost and helpless, as a familiar face flickered away, replaced by worry and hope intertwining like a threadbare tapestry. I had replayed this moment 1,000 times in my mind, yet here it was, tangible, laden with guilt and yearning. "Why didn't I see the signs?" I whispered, forcing back tears. The scene twisted, revealing fragments of conversations I had had but didn't fully appreciate, a stark reminder that I could have been more present. Even now, I felt fear gnawing at my insides, the anxiety of not knowing what lay before me. Yet amid that fear, a strong impulse emerged. I had to reclaim control, to make sense of the chaos that wrapped around me. I took a step back, the portal's glow illuminating the way. I opened my mouth, ready to voice the question that reverberated through my thoughts. Could I alter the course? Could I step back into a moment when I could have made different choices? Was it too late to reconnect with the parts of my life that mattered? Lingering within the echoes of memories, I understood the time was now. Every subtle nuance, every tear shed and respite served as a tapestry woven into my journey, shaping who I was meant to be. My father's legacy awaited, a message beyond the confines of this digital realm. But how could I initiate that change? Just then, the scene began to fade, drawing me back toward the glowing passage I had crossed. A slowly spinning murmur of longing filled the air as I maneuvered through layers of emotion, threading me back to the love and warmth of those I held dear. The journey thus far had proven valuable. Every moment demanded acknowledgement, and every regret sought closure. As I prepared to move forward, a suspicion grew in my mind. Was my experience uniquely mine, or had anyone else walked this path with similar regrets? If you felt the weight of previous choices or found yourself haunted by moments left unexamined, drop a comment below. I need to know that I'm not the only one tangled in this web of nostalgia and longing. With renewed resolve, I stepped through the portal, fully ready to embrace the depths of my history. I understood that this journey demanded exploration, every intricacy woven together like the threads of fate itself. I needed to confront my legacy, reassembling the pieces of a narrative that offered redemption. Moving beyond the threshold, I was greeted by another vista, a landscape bursting with colors yet eerily surreal. The shadows of uncertainty settled around me as I steeled my determination. This was more than a journey through a digital world. It was the opportunity to trace my family's history, piece together realities that shaped my past, and forge a new path forward. I had to confront this intersection of time and choices head on, embracing both the praises and the failures, with the purpose of unwrapping the legacy my father had entrusted me to decipher. With that thought solidifying my resolve, I prepared to step boldly into the unknown, determined to reclaim authority over my narrative. This was just the beginning of a journey demanding courage, conviction, and the audacity to confront my truth amidst the chaos of existence. As I plunged deeper into the digital landscape, I felt the pull of memories whispering through the air. Each step resonated with echoes of laughter, warmth, and unfulfilled promises. The vibrant colors around me shimmered and shifted, bending reality like light through a prism, igniting both hope and trepidation within me. The vista morphed, revealing an array of scenes, some instilled with joy, others marred by pain. I found myself at a familiar crossroads, my childhood backyard, where I had played with friends, the sun shining down, oblivious to the weight of the world outside. I could hear their laughter as if it was just yesterday. In a nostalgic haze, I remembered carefree summer afternoons spent under the trees, proximity transforming simple moments into treasured memories. But as I approached, the air became heavy with dissonance. Suddenly, images began flashing vividly, weaving together times I had neglected. I saw myself as a teenager involved in a heated argument with my father, a stark contrast to the vibrant backyard. His disappointment had hung between us like the thick humidity of that summer air, yet I had brushed it off in search of validation in the outside world. The sharpness of regret pierced through me, grounding my nostalgia with the realization that I had distanced myself from those I loved most. In a blink, the scene transformed, plunging me into a shifting collage of muted tones, conveying the pain of missed connections. I found myself standing in front of my childhood home, camera in hand, my father capturing my awkward teenage poses with all the pride in the world. His laughter echoed in the air, and I recalled how I had dismissed those moments, focused more on appearances than the warmth of our bond. It was then that the truth hit me. My father had documented not just my childhood, but the very foundation of who I was. His desire for connection, even amidst my rebellious pursuit of independence, was an unyielding thread woven into the fabric of my life. I felt the gravity of it all settle within me. His hope and yearning to connect lay nestled in each photo, a silent call for understanding. As the scene faded, I felt compelled to confront this threadbare tapestry, to weave together the love I had so recklessly overlooked. The urge to reclaim those lost moments surged within me, a demand for accountability echoing in the depths of my being. Standing there, I quietly vowed to honor my father's legacy, not by chasing shadows, but by nurturing the connections that mattered most. "Thank you," I murmured into the ether, feeling the reverberation of gratitude merge with my resolve. This journey demanded not just exploration, but recognition of all those imperfect moments that helped shape me. With newfound determination, I stepped forward into the next realm, where vibrant colors swirled. I could hear fragmented conversations merging into a cacophony of choices unmade, paths unexplored. In this dizzying confusion, I sought clarity, weaving my voice back into the narrative. This was about other lives intertwined, every person I had brushed against carrying their own tales and truths. Suddenly, an amplified pulse surged through the pixels surrounding me. A portal opened, leading me to a dimly lit room filled with faint echoes of my past. The air was thick with echoes of arguments not resolved, instances where I could have chosen to listen instead of dismiss. It felt like the universe was littered with possibilities left behind, and I was beginning to grasp the responsibility that came with each choice made or ignored. "We can choose differently now," a quiet voice whispered, and I realized it was my own. Every moment unfolded with potential, and urgency tightened its grip on my heart. The stories waited to be rewritten, to redefine not just my narrative, but the legacies passed down through my father's teachings. If you found solace or meaning in these revisitations of the past, I implore you, hit that thanks button below. Your support fuels our exploration into stories that matter, guiding us toward understanding the intricate weavings of our lives. With that encouragement in mind, I prepared myself for the uncharted territories waiting ahead. Each scene blended together, forming a tapestry rich in color and complexity, a profound reminder that every experience, every connection mattered. I steadied my breath and stepped boldly into the heart of uncertainty, ready to confront the web of choices that had both troubled and sculpted my journey. The narrative of my life was unfolding before me, a design crafted on choose-your-own-adventure pages, filled with what could be. I could feel the spirits of those I loved surrounding me, their voices mingling with the echoes of my father's hopes and dreams. This was it, the confrontation of my truth, the exploration of guilt, and the embrace of love lost and found. The strands of nostalgia tied my past to the present, all of it converging into a singular, unbroken narrative that awaited my passionate touch to bring it all alive. As I took another step into the digital realm, the vibrant colors began to swirl and pulse around me, illuminating moments of my life I had thought lost to time. I felt an exhilarating mixture of hope and dread. This was my opportunity to confront the tangled web of choices and relationships that had shaped me. The landscape shifted, revealing fragments of my relationships. Friends who had become strangers through years of neglect, and familial bonds frayed by my single-minded pursuit of success. I saw scenes play out like a movie reel, spontaneous road trips filled with laughter, conversations brimming with shared dreams, punctuated by silences that spoke volumes. Each scene was a reminder of what I had taken for granted. Suddenly, the atmosphere thickened, and I found myself standing in a commercial setting, a constant blur of people and conversations that only amplified my isolation. I remembered moments where I had turned a deaf ear to calls for connection, drowning them out with deadlines and work commitments. The hum of the busy office faded into a haunting echo of my own choices, a painful reflection of pathways left unexplored. In the midst of my reflection, I saw my father's ghostly figure at the edge of my vision. He remained a silent observer, the proud yet concerned patriarch who had always believed in my potential but worried about my choices. The unspoken love and the weight of expectation hung in the air, urging me to realize how intertwined our fates were. With each passing moment, I felt my resolve deepen. This was not just about my journey, it was about everyone whose lives intersected with mine. I could adjust my course, not to erase the past, but to honor it by creating connections where there had been distance. The realization washed over me. My father had prepared me to face this truth through his own actions, teaching me the importance of relationships with every life lesson imparted. "We can still write a new chapter," I whispered, my voice trembling with emotion. "We can redefine our lives, together." The portal began to shift and expand, revealing a new path bathed in warm light. I felt an almost magnetic pull toward the vibrant energy emanating from it, an unmistakable call to engage with the connections I had overlooked for far too long. To share this journey with others and explore the intricacies of our narratives, I knew I needed a community. Join the channel membership, I urged, feeling the passion ignite within me. Let's uncover these hidden stories together, support one another, and find the common threads that bind us. Our legacies deserve to be explored and understood. With newfound purpose, I stepped through the portal's shimmering light, ready to confront the tangled threads of my life. Each connection stood as a testament to my past, a symbol of the impact that our choices had on the lives of others. I could feel the spirits around me urging me to reconnect and reclaim what mattered most. As the landscape matured around me, I caught glimpses of potential reunions. Friends who had drifted away were reformed in vivid snapshots, laughter echoes looping through time. I knew these moments held power, an opportunity to mend broken bonds, to strengthen ties that had grown weak. With every step, I sought clarity, striving to weave my voice back into my own narrative, but also into the greater story we shared. The realization emerged that I was never alone in my journey. We were all navigating the tangled threads of time, seeking connection amidst the chaos of existence. I pressed forward, memories swirling in a dance, blurring the lines between past, present, and future. Each connection held the promise of renewed understanding, a chance at sincerity I had so often neglected. This path was paved with choices made and unmade, serving as a reminder that healing and reconciliation were possible. As I advanced through the portal, the echoes of laughter and voices wrapped around me, resonating deeper within my soul. I felt the encouragement of those I held dear, their spirits entwined with my father's, rekindling my strength and resolve. This journey was no longer solely about piecing together my legacy. It evolved into a collective pursuit to heal the fractured connections of those I loved. With a heart full of intention, I stepped into the luminous embrace of possibility, prepared to rewrite our stories. In this journey into the unknown, I understood that every encounter, past and present, had significance. I would take ownership of my narrative, honoring each connection and paving the way for meaningful relationships that shaped my existence moving forward. The portal pulsated, guiding me toward an avenue brimming with potential. My father's legacy was alive within me, transforming the echoes of the past into a vibrant tapestry of compassion, understanding, and resolute strength. As I stood on the precipice of change, the horizon before me opened wide, inviting me to embrace the next chapter of my life fully. Stepping through the portal felt like breaking through the skin of reality itself, an exhilarating rush that sent tingles down my spine. The world before me kaleidoscoped into intricate scenes, vibrant representations of lost opportunities and cherished memories. This was the point where my past converged with every possibility I had forsaken. As the mist cleared, intricate murals framed the edges of my vision, each depicting moments that defined me. My first day at school, laughter over birthday cakes, and those quiet evenings spent with my father sharing tales of dreams. Each scene shimmered, inviting me to relive it, yet each also bore the weight of unspoken truths wrapped in layers of nostalgia. I felt the pull of a scene, a comforting sight of my childhood bedroom, adorned with posters of my favorite bands and the lingering scent of old books. This was a sanctuary where I had dreamed unafraid, where my father had lovingly nurtured my ambitions. But even within its warmth, threads of regret tugged at the edges of my consciousness. I noticed items strewn across the floor, forgotten journals filled with musings, ideas lost in the shuffle of life. "I should have revisited you sooner," I murmured, stepping deeper into the room. The scattered pages flew open like the flurry of emotions swirling within me. Each entry I'd penned echoed with innocence, desires, and a longing for connection. But over the years, those desires had become clouded beneath societal expectations and ambition. In a haze of mixed emotions, I picked up one of those journals, dust dancing in the sunlight filtering through the window. I flipped through the pages, each written word drawing me back to the heart of who I once was. I yearned to reclaim that spirit, the ability to dream without boundaries, to embrace my vulnerabilities, a poignant juxtaposition against the carefully constructed walls I had built around me. As I lingered in this sanctuary, the murmurs of the past began to intertwine with the present, whispers urging me to weave those threads together. The need for healing coursed through me, an imperative to embrace my failures alongside my triumphs. I could feel the spirits around me, my father's presence palpably guiding my steps. Then a shimmering light caught my eye, breaking through the walls of memory. In the center, a glowing portal beckoned, signifying the collective stories yet untold, the narratives that lay scattered across lived experiences. What if I could guide others in this exploration of their legacies, drawing them in to piece together their own narratives? An idea ignited within me, a compelling urge to record these revelations, compiling them into something that could help others confront their paths. Every lesson learned from my journey, every choice made and regretted, could serve as a beacon for those walking similar paths. Imagine the stories that could be told, I whispered, realizing this endeavor was not just for me, but for a community of seekers. I envisioned an ebook detailing the intricate layers of connection and healing I had begun to uncover. If you want to dive even deeper into the truth behind our legacies, I encouraged, feeling the warmth of purpose surrounding me, I will document this journey in an ebook. Each revelation, each connection explored will be captured, the lessons too important to remain unshared. This was not merely a record of my life, but a compendium of wisdom on recognizing and nurturing every thread that bound us to our pasts and futures alike. I felt urgency rush through me. I had to begin this exploration not only for my own healing, but as part of a larger tapestry of stories waiting to be shared. With resolve, I stepped forward through the portal, ignited by the vision of my future work. I could see the ebook blossoming into existence, pages filled with recollections of joy, vulnerability, and introspection. It would be a guide, an invitation for others to examine their own narratives, to scrutinize the delicate connections in their lives, and to embolden their voices. As I gathered the refracted reflections of my life, I felt the clarity of purpose intertwine with the gentle nudges of my father's legacy. I would embrace the power of storytelling to illuminate paths obscured by hesitation. I could give others the space to confront their fears, grieve for their losses, and rejoice in their triumphs. This is my gift to anyone who needs it, I proclaimed into the swirling brilliance around me. Let's embrace our legacies. Let's explore the truths that bind us to one another, and let's create connections that endure beyond the confines of our current narratives. Within the radiant embrace of possibility, I felt transformed. I was no longer just a seeker of reconciliation, but a curator of stories, poised to guide others to reclaim their journeys. As I stepped deeper into this realm of potential, I understood that every fragment I pieced together would resonate beyond these pages, igniting flames of understanding and compassion. With each step, the spaces around me shifted, wrapping me in warmth and clarity, urging me toward this exciting endeavor. I felt rejuvenated by the vision of creation, embracing the truth that stories are not merely observations of our lives, but serve as the connective tissue fostering empathy and understanding among us. As I set out to craft this ebook, I felt a renewed sense of direction and purpose, a beacon lighting the path ahead, illuminating the vital importance of every thread interwoven in the fabric of existence. We all share this journey, and I was committed to ensuring that the lessons I learned would guide others in their navigations as well. This was only the beginning, a prelude to the multitude of connections yet to be forged, the stories waiting quietly in the shadows, awaiting the courage to step into the light. Together, we would delve into this profound experience, celebrating our shared legacies and embracing the beauty of connection as it unfolded. As I stepped deeper into the radiant realm, a pulsating energy filled the air, thick with possibilities unspoken. The echoes of my past resonated at an intensity I hadn't encountered before. Each memory felt like a strand of hope, vitality weaving through my narrative as I prepared to confront the sum of my experiences. Emboldened by the vision of the ebook emerging from the shadows of my introspection, I felt the urge to connect with others. Each person I had brushed against in life carried stories worth exploring, lessons embedded in shared moments of joy and grief. This was more than just my journey. It was a call to unite our voices and craft a collective narrative that elevated connection over isolation. As the landscape swirled and morphed, one scene crystallized before me. A gathering of friends, ages worn, yet laughter untainted by time, reminiscing about the adventures we had shared. I was reminded of late-night talks under starlit skies, the secrets we had exchanged, and the support we offered one another in times of need. But then shadows flickered, moments overshadowed by silence and missed opportunities. How many times had I let misunderstandings fester instead of reaching out? How often had I buried discomfort with the left-behind message of prioritizing ambition over connection? Regret clawed at my insides, a visceral reminder that healing required more than just recognition. It demanded action. I stepped into the scene, my presence shifting the dynamic. The figures turned towards me, their warm smiles welcoming and affirming. "We're still here," they seemed to say, a chorus urging me to recognize the power of reconciliation. I took a deep breath, feeling the air thicken with unspoken words bubbling to the surface. It's never too late. I spoke softly, addressing both the friends before me and the ghosts of the connections I had neglected. I want to heal our wounds together. I want us to find the courage to embrace the truths that have lingered in silence for far too long. As I spoke, the surroundings shifted to reflect the warmth of vulnerability. Hearts once hidden began to reveal their stories, intertwining with mine. Stories of misunderstanding, sorrow, and laughter poured forth. I was witnessing a tapestry of our collective lives, sewn together by shared experiences. The beauty of imperfection on the journey toward reconnection. Let's breathe life back into these relationships, I urged, my voice rising with passion. We owe it to ourselves and to one another to cultivate understanding from our mistakes and transform them into strength. One by one, they nodded in agreement, and as they did, I felt a lightness in my heart, a release of years spent shuttered away from the connections that had once fueled my spirit. Hope unfurled within me like the wings of a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. I wasn't just confronting my past, I was preparing to embrace a promised future filled with connection and understanding. Suddenly, a shimmering light broke through the swirling hues of color, illuminating a new path. It called out to me, beckoning me to step closer to the threshold of transformation. Here, the power of my father's legacy enveloped me, urging me to take that leap into the unknown, to heal not only my relationships, but also the wounds that festered within my soul. This journey is not just mine, I declared, feeling clarity wash over me. It's for everyone who has felt the weight of their forgotten narratives, every heart that is hidden from pain or aversion. Together, we can explore new chapters, reclaim our legacies, and rewrite our stories. With that, I turned to the pulsating portal. A thought ignited within me, and I started envisioning the many lessons I had learned, each one a stepping stone towards self-discovery interlaced with healing. Only then did I realize I had the tools to spread this awakening further than I had ever imagined. If the stories I share resonate with you, if you find meaning in our exploration of connection and healing, I implored, hit that thanks button. It directly supports this journey we're embarking on together, allowing us to elevate these stories and create a space where every voice matters. Every contribution helps us unearth the interconnectedness of our lives. As the invitation hung in the air, I felt the warmth of gratitude embrace me. The community, the connections were alive and pulsing around me. Their presence reminded me of the vital importance of uplifting one another as we navigated the complexities of existence. With renewed clarity, I approached the portal that shimmered with pure potential. In that luminous embrace, I could see myself poised to uncover hidden truths, to dive into the depths of each story waiting for the light, and to fortify the bonds of friendship, family, and compassion. As I leaped into the portal, the encouraging laughter of friends echoed all around me, synchronizing with the heartbeat of my renewed purpose. I was prepared to reclaim not just my narrative, but to contribute to a larger shift, a collective healing steeped in connection, vulnerability, and understanding. This journey would not end here. It had just begun. I would honor my past while embracing the future, fueled by the lessons learned. With compassion as my guide, I would go forth to craft my ebook, a living testament to the intertwined stories we shared, bridging gaps and celebrating the beautiful, chaotic tapestry of life. The world opened before me, expansive and inviting, ripe with stories to tell and connections waiting to be fulfilled. And as I welcomed this unfolding narrative, I stepped confidently into the light, ready to create the next chapter of our shared existence. As I stepped into the portal, a wave of warmth enveloped me, tinged with the smell of nostalgia and the promise of new beginnings. The luminous space ahead flickered with colors that bounced joyfully, illuminating the contours of what felt like a threshold into myriad possibilities. My heart raced, fueled by anticipation, as I prepared to embrace the connections that awaited. Emerging from the portal into a greater realm, I found myself surrounded by a vast, ethereal mosaic, a towering amalgamation of images and stories intertwined into a single brilliant tapestry. Each thread seemed to pulsate with energy, representing the intertwining lives of every person I had encountered. Their moments formed a collective consciousness that wrapped around me like a comforting embrace. I marveled at the spectacle before me, recognizing familiar faces and figures from my past, moments I had shared with friends and family. This collective gathering of experiences felt as if it was echoing a universal truth, that our lives are not standalone narratives. Rather, they are connected in ways that are often too intricate to fully comprehend. I approached a scene that depicted bittersweet memories. Old friends huddled together while growing up, the laughter tinged with tears as we navigated the complexities of adolescence. Misunderstandings lingered in the air, their shapes ghostly and opaque, yet they were juxtaposed against moments of deep connection and support. The realization dawned upon me that those connections had shaped my understanding of love, loss, and resilience. In the core of this mosaic, I felt compelled to stand tall, intent on reclaiming every lesson learned. We owe it to ourselves, I implored into the vibrant ensemble surrounding me, to embrace the gift of vulnerability that connection provides. When we come together, we recognize our shared humanity, and in doing so, we heal. My words floated across the tapestry, mingling with the glowing images around me. I could see flickers of understanding manifest within the faces gathered before me, recognition dawning as they absorbed my sentiments. I closed my eyes, allowing the collective energy to envelop me, reminding me of the power of storytelling, the universal thread that bound us all. This wasn't merely about my journey, it was about us. I envisioned an ebook, a living testament to our intertwined stories, an invitation for others to explore their legacies alongside mine. It would serve as a guidebook for those seeking to carve meaning out of their narratives, emphasizing the strength that emerges from bearing witness to one another's truths. Imagine how powerful it will be, I stated, my voice flowing with conviction. Together, we will share our stories, no matter how daunting they may seem, so others can see the beauty in vulnerability and connection. If this resonates with you, if there is even a fragment of truth you find meaningful, I urge you to journey alongside me. As I spoke, the shimmering fabric of our stories began to intertwine, threads weaving themselves into a comprehensive vision where each shared narrative added to the weight and significance of the whole. I'm committed to documenting this journey and bringing forth an ebook that captures the essence of our shared experiences. Your contributions will be vital. They will help us carve a path toward healing and understanding. The energy rippled through the space, and I felt my heart swell with excitement. Your support is what makes this journey possible, I implored, urging each spirit within the apparition of our collected memories. By contributing and sharing your thoughts, you fuel our exploration. Hit that thanks button. Every gesture of support empowers us to dive deeper into the stories that matter. With that heartfelt invitation lingering in the air, I felt golden threads cascade from the figure surrounding me, illuminating the possibilities that awaited us all. They glimmered like stars, each adorned with stories waiting to be uncovered. I realized that our collective experiences could serve as a backdrop to transcending pain and misunderstanding while creating space for healing. I invite you to reflect on your narrative, I encouraged, appreciation flooding my being as I witnessed their faces brighten with recognition. Let's rewrite the tales that have lingered untold, transform our experiences into strength, and guide others toward connection and empathy. Finally, I felt invigorated by clarity. This was the essence of my roadmap forward, an ebook that would become a bridge between past and future, honoring the lessons entwined within the legacy of my father and myself. Our stories deserve to breathe, and together we would bring them to life. Eager to fulfill this mission, I took a step deeper into the world of shimmering narratives. Each step threaded itself into the essence of every soul gathered, an unwavering commitment to amplifying each other's voices and the wisdom gathered through our journeys. As I breathed in, the radiant energy pulled at my core, reminding me that this space of transformation was limitless, waiting for us to embrace the connections forged among us. My heart raced with resolve as I understood. This was more than an ebook. It was our shared reclamation of what it means to be human, a testament to our resilience in the face of life's challenges. In this moment of unity, I took one more step forward, ready to fully immerse myself in the storytelling that awaited. I would reel in each strand, each narrative echoing through time, and unveil them for everyone seeking connection and meaning. The future held endless possibilities, and together we would embark on this journey as a family united by the fabric of our intertwined stories. As I stood at the threshold of this vast realm of connection, warmth enveloped me, tinged with nostalgia and the promise of renewal. Each colorful flicker of light around me illuminated my purpose, ready to embrace the new narrative unfolding before me. With every step, I felt the vibrational pulse of shared experiences, a collective heartbeat echoing the truths we would soon uncover. Surrounded by a stunning mosaic depicting our intertwined lives, I recognized familiar faces and fragments of my history. Moments shared with friends and family came alive. This vivid spectacle reminded me that our stories are intimately connected, shaping our understanding of love, loss, and resilience. We owe it to ourselves, I proclaimed, my voice resonating throughout the space, to honor the gift of vulnerability that connection offers. When we gather, we heal. Those words drifted like a quiet incantation, wrapping around the figures in this dreamlike tapestry, stirring their spirits awake. In this singular moment of unity, the boundaries of my individual story began to merge with the collective. The vision of my ebook crystallized. It wouldn't just be a testament to my journey, it would serve as an inviting guide for others to explore their own legacies. In collaboration, we could all reframe our narratives and celebrate the complexities of life. If our exploration resonates with you, I urged, a sense of urgency fueling my words, hit that thanks button. Your support will transform this journey, empowering us to unearth the deeper connections that bind us. As I spoke, I felt energy coursing through the air, golden threads radiating from every spirit surrounding me, illuminating the vast possibilities ahead. Each thread beckoned to the stories waiting to be uncovered as we transcended misunderstandings, rekindling empathy and compassion. United in our shared mission, we could face the unspoken narratives lurking in the shadows. Together, I continued, we will invite others to reflect on their own paths and guide them toward a place of connection and understanding. With that, I stepped confidently deeper into the shimmering world around me, ready to harness the power of storytelling and weave a collective ethos. Through the tapestry of narratives awaiting to be shared, I felt no desire to turn back. I was driven to embrace this vast, infinite potential. This wasn't just an ebook, it was an evolving testament to the resilience inherent in being human, a celebration of the connections that defined us. A brilliant future awaited as I committed to embracing the stories we all held dear. Together, we would embark on a journey of unity, healing, and transformative connection.